Good morning, and we are together again for episode number 4 of Your Bucket List Accelerator, filtering the noise so that you can focus on your dream life. And thank you for getting ready with me in the morning. Again, we have some really good topics to go through. For anybody that is new here, I just want to introduce myself really quickly. I'm Lisa. I'm a financial advisor. I help people get to financial freedom as quickly as possible. While we work together, we work and make sure that we can avoid some of those common mistakes that happen along the way that stop people from getting to their goals fast. And I love beauty. So why not combine the two? Take something that makes women in particular pretty anxious, which is finances and money, connect it to their morning routine, which they love, which I love at least. Talk about some makeup, talk about some stuff that's going on in the world, go through a couple topics, probably about 3 topics most of the time that, we go through the topic, what's the shiny object that might be distracting you, what's the real truth, and then just do a little discussion. Sound good? Sounds good to me. So let's jump into it. Oh, and by the way, we're going to try to keep this at 30 minutes or under. I do have some meetings today, so I can't go on too long. I can't blab away. So I did some prep before on my skin. So I did a combination of Thirst Burst Drops, the e.l.f., and then the CL Bronze and Protect SPF 50 and Bronze 01. So I did a combination of this just to kind of warm up the base and be a primer. And then I went in with kind of an eye primer trick that I do, which is to put one of these eye sticks under my eyes. I have naturally bags under my eyes. I've had them since I was 10. So this just helps kind of even and smooth out those creases essentially under my eyes. So this is the Tula Skincare Rose Glow plus Get It Cooling and Brightening Eye Balm. And this has been very nice. I have a couple of variations of those, which have been good. And then I went in and I primed my T-zone with the Benefit the Pore Professional. I don't think there's a shade on that. So just if you're new here, I will have all of the products and the shades that I'm using listed in the description. I'm not going to have links because I don't want to, nor do I need to make money from you buying the products, but I do want you to know what I used because I'm talking about other stuff. And so sometimes I look at something, I'm like, ooh, that would be nice. What is that? And it's not listed. It drives me crazy. So I don't want to do that to you. And then I curled my eyes with the Shiseido eye curler. All right, so you're all caught up in what I did. So I'm going to start with I'll start with base today. So I'm going to start with the NYX Professional Makeup Make 'em Wonder. I didn't realize that's what it was called. Make 'em Wonder in 12 Natural. And as I shake that up, let's go into the first topic. So California actually did something I enjoy. A lot of times they don't. I'm from California, so I can brag on them a bit. So on March 18th, 2026, Governor Newsom officially signed, I'm looking at notes if you're wondering what I'm looking at, officially signed an executive order to celebrate and adopt a new statewide curriculum focused on closing the wealth gap. Essentially I need to stop saying essentially. I notice I do that a lot. It drives me crazy. Okay. But what the law says is that starting in 2030 to 2031, every high schooler in California must complete a standalone personal finance course before they can graduate. Covers banking, credit scores, taxes, and investing. I think that's fantastic. I think the shiny object is that these laws are going to automatically take care of things and fix that wealth income gap that's happening. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm sorry, I'm just a realist on that. But, well, that's not good. This packaging sucks with this, although I did shake it quite a bit. Maybe that's my fault, but I have noticed the packaging kind of leaks and I don't love that. Okay, I'm going to go in with which brush do I want to do? I'll do this one. The BK Beauty 106 rounded brush. This will be good to get this on. So obviously I'm happy for any kind of education when it comes to finance because I think we're not getting it. And I think a lot of people are not able to do basic finance. I think it causes some insecurity in people that they don't understand what is going on. They don't understand what they consider to be the basics. And it's just causing issues for people. You know, I'm going to take that back. This is my fault. I shook it too much while I was talking about California's new initiative, and now it's fine. So it's not messy packaging. It's messy Lisa. And and I think this is great. I do think that their purpose is kind of silly. They say that they did this. Where was the thing about women? Oh, they wanted to expand women's access to capital and investment opportunities. It basically is trying to get more women-led businesses to be considered for different government things, which I am not against women-owned businesses. I am a woman-owned business, but I don't think that that's going to necessarily occur. But I am happy just from a course. I think that's oversimplifying things. However, I am very thankful for the initiative, whatever the reason was, and I think it's great. So like I said, I don't usually talk about California in a positive light sometimes because they do some things I just wonder what they're doing. But you know, that one I'm happy about. And you know, they do good things. I shouldn't say that they don't, but they do good things. That one really stood out as something that I was like, wow, it would be nice if more states took an interest in reintroducing financial topics in the schools. I think that would be really good overall for not necessarily the economy, but just for people's comfortability. That's not a word. The comfort level when it comes to their finances. Because right now I'm finding the millennials and the Gen Z don't feel comfortable about finances. Gen X is still a little iffy too. And I think they took out programs in the schools, and I think that that's wrong, to be completely frank. Then I'm going to go into correcting under the eyes with this LA Girl Pro Concealer, and this is in some shade. I will have the shade below. It's kind of the peachy shade though. So I will put this under the eyes, just where I have a little blue coming through. So I thought that was really good. I hope more states consider doing that. It's kind of sad that the states have to mandate anything, that this isn't just part of the curriculum in general. But what can you do? You can't do much, right? Then I'm going to go in with this Revlon Color Stay Skin Awake Caffeine and Vitamin C 24 hours 5-in-1 concealer. I don't know what the 5 is. What 5 things go into this? I don't know. I've never actually read the the label. And it is in 030 light medium. And it's a nice concealer. I've been going through my concealers. Actually, I don't want to do it that way. I've learned a new way of doing concealer. And I don't know if this is perfect, but it's helped me a lot. So I will share it with you. You know, obviously the packaging on this is cruddy, but what I do is I take some of the concealer, if it will come out of the sponge tip, there we go, and put just a bit in my hand. And then let's put the top back on so I don't make a mess. And then I put some on my brush here. I put too much in my hand, but I put a little bit on my brush here, and then I tap it in. And that has been so much better. I feel like I've gotten more coverage that way with less product, so it's not creasing throughout the day, because I do have lines under my eyes like every other human being does. And it just drives me crazy because I feel like if you put on too little, then it's not doing anything. So it's like, why am I putting this on? But if you put on obviously too much, it's too much and it becomes really crepey and that kind of thing. I'm using this Nikki LaRose N16 brush from BK Beauty. This is a really good one because it has these little fibers at the end that I can kind of just get it under here a little bit and kind of get out some excess as well. And then I'm going to take what are these called? AO? I don't know. I'll put them in here. Just a sponge and just getting out some excess, pushing out some excess there. But I feel like that really has helped with coverage, but not using too much product. So I don't know if that's really what I should be doing, if a makeup artist is going to tell me I'm doing it wrong, but it works for me. So I'm happy with that. Okay, so we've got concealer and foundation down. Let's move on to the second topic, which is gold and silver. Now, you might have been hearing about this or not. You probably have heard about how gold and silver have just been skyrocketing. In 2025, they were just the it investment that everybody was asking me about. And it became kind of what people thought it was being called the gold rush. And, it hit staggering highs at the beginning of 2026. And, it was considered gold and silver are marketed as a safe haven. I do that in quotes, and I'll tell you why in a second. But what happened was in March, it came crashing down. Both of them did. They really haven't recovered. Now, if you bought, in 2022, you're probably still doing okay, but it definitely has moved much quicker than people think. And the reason I said safe haven is I don't know, they always say gold, silver, metals, commodities, you can name a bunch of them, they are counter-cyclical to the markets, meaning the markets go down, then gold and silver are going to go up. They were saying this about crypto too, that was counter-cyclical. I'm finding that might have been true in the past, but it doesn't feel that way anymore. So markets started to come down in March of 2026 because of the Iran conflict, war, whatever you want to call it. So has gold and silver. So how has that been a safe haven? Same with crypto. These things that used to be those safe haven, counter-cyclical, anti-market cycles, those don't exist anymore, it feels like. Now, that doesn't mean they won't come back, but that's what it feels like to me. It doesn't feel like that's what's going on. Okay, I'm going to put a little cream bronzer on, put some powder, cream bronzer and cream highlight on, put some powder on, and then get going with the eyes. There's been a big fad. So I'm going to use this Milani Kiss Cheek and 110 Hey Honey. This is a great bronzer. This has been around for a long time, so probably a lot of you know about it already, but my goodness, this is a good bronzer. And I'm going to use the Nikki LaRose N15 brush. So have any of you experienced or gotten gold and silver? I would say, a lot of people, I've been talking to them about gold and silver as a diversifier in their portfolios. I haven't been discussing with them too much about gold bars, silver bars. I know Costco was in the world of selling that. I know that was a thing that people were talking about. And a CFO friend of mine and I were talking about it. That just doesn't make sense because let's say the dollar, they're saying it's good to have the physical metal because if the dollar crashes, you'll have gold, which is more universal than the US dollar. However, the US dollar is still a very widely accepted currency. In fact, my husband and I are going to be going on vacation down in South America later this year. And I was looking at exchange rates and should we exchange money? And they say no, because people like having, American dollars still. And you might say, well, that's South America, that's why. But it's still a pretty strong currency. Now I'm going to go in with the Pillow Talk Beauty Light. Wow, that is shiny and I can't see it. Pillow Talk Beauty Light Wand in, I think this was medium. Yeah, Pillow Talk medium. I didn't have this one, so it's new. So hopefully I don't make a mess all over the place with it. But that's it's pretty. It's a bronzy color. I've been putting everything in the palm of my hand instead of top of my hand for some reason. And I kind of like it. It just makes things a little bit less messy for me, I think. Which brush do I want to use for this? Let's do, what am I going to use for the, okay, let's do this. We'll use the Nikki LaRose N20 brush. And I'll swirl that in my hand and swirl that in my face and get going with the powder. So if you have gold and silver bars, physical, and the US dollar goes down, it's pretty. That is not as dramatic as I thought it was going to be. Oh, of course, that light went out. Not as dramatic as I thought it was going to be, but it's pretty. I like the glow. And another tip, if you do that, just take one of these makeup wipe cloths that are just, you throw them in the wash. I always bring mine out so I don't get makeup all over our clothes. But you throw it in the wash. This works just as well as buying those disposable makeup wipes, and there's no chemicals and things on there that I'm having it go into my hands, so I'm kind of happy with those. All right, that looks really nice. I'm going to do powder, and then we're going to move on to eyes. Eyes will be fast today, and then we'll move on. All right, so I got this Laura Mercier. Well, I don't have the little sifter thing off so I can look at it. Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Under Eye Setting Powder in Peach. I have the pink one and I've been enjoying that, but I thought the peach one would be nice too. I'll just do that. Ooh. Bunch came out of my hand, way more than I needed. That's fun. But if you are trying to buy, bread or something and the dollar is not existent, a gold bar is not going to do it for you. It's just not. And that's my answer to people. And people, when I ask them, how are you going to, is a gold bar really going to be accepted for goods that that the dollar won't buy? They can't really answer me on that, And so just make sure that when you are looking at things like that, that you're looking at it from a logical point of view rather than hype. So that was nice. Oh, I used the Nikki LaRose N14 brush. I'm obviously in a Nikki LaRose BK Beauty deal right now. Although I will say, let me see if I can find it. Well, I'll do this one because I used it earlier. This brand, Lamora, which I did use their eyeshadow palette in one of my earlier videos, I believe. They make some brushes. These brushes are excellent and they're very inexpensive. They have a dupe for the Makeup by Mario, really popular one as well. And I have the Makeup by Mario one as well, but it's just as good. That has the kind of two smaller slanted sides. If I can think of it, I'll put a picture in or something, but it's really good. So that is a nice setting powder. Laura Mercier does know how to do setting powders right. So anyhow, that's the whole deal with gold and silver. Do I think that if you own gold and silver in your portfolio, you should be getting rid of it? Is it done? No, I don't believe that. So, okay, so we're going to move on to eyes. I'm going to do in the bottom waterline and Colourpop Honeydew just to brighten, and then we will move on to the last subject. See, not painful at all. Last subject is about budgeting. So the typical new trend, there was a new survey that came out, and I'll read it to you once I'm done with this so I don't do something to my eye I don't want to have happen. So there was a new survey showing that mindful spending is becoming a trend in 2026, which I love, and I'll explain to you in a second. So a recent survey found that 93% of people are changing how they manage money this year because of daily stress. So the old school way, the shiny object way of doing it was the old school, rigid, I can't buy anything fun. I can only focus on my goals. I have to be debt free. It's a very Dave Ramsey way of doing it. We discussed that last week about have no cash, just throw money at you can't do that, in my opinion. I think that that's very hard for most people to do and can cause problems. But the reality is 58% of people are practicing what they call financial gymnastics, which I think is kind of an interesting title, where they live intentionally frugally during the week so they can afford the weekend plans or little treats that actually bring them joy. So I love this idea. I think this is a really interesting idea. It shows that people are being conscious of what they are doing. I'm going to go with the brow because I don't want to go too long. I'm trying to stay into this 30-minute mark. So, and this is Pink Lipia. Oh, I don't even know this company, but I think I got it in an Ipsy box or something. Pink Lipia, and this is in brown or dark brown. It looks black to me. I don't know. It doesn't actually list it does on the soft black. The Browed Up Soft Black from Pink Lipia. It's a very nice pencil. It's one of those nano pencils that really help kind of just create some subtle hairs on the areas that I am missing here. So for those of you who might not know, my philosophy is that you should always put your budgeting, your financial savings plan, and associate it with things that are going to bring you joy as well. So I call it bucket list planning. I'm also going to go in with the Wow Brow Tinted Gel. And again, this is so old. I have no idea what the color is. I'm assuming it's dark brown or black or something, but these are pretty inexpensive. So if you're not quite sure, just buy a couple of them and see what works for you. This is a nice tinted eyebrow gel though. A lot of them are too goopy and this one is not, which is nice. Probably need to get another one. It's pretty old. Then we're going to go into with a new eyeshadow stick. This is from Ilia. I just got this today and I was excited, so I thought I'd try it. So it's their Stylus shadow stick, and this is in Nectar. I've been wanting to find kind of a peachy color. I don't have one of those in my eyeshadow stick, so I thought, why not use this opportunity to get this color and try this eyeshadow stick. And I did put it on my hand earlier and it does set down. So for those of you who don't know, I'm going to use the Profusion, I'm going to say eye blending brush because it doesn't have anything on there. So this really does set down though. I put it on my hand and it was set down pretty quickly. So you just probably want to work pretty fast with that. That's nice. It does just look like my natural eye color a bit. Maybe let's see if I can get it to build up on itself a little bit, but sometimes it's nice to get something that's closer to your natural eye color. But okay, so let's go back to financial gymnastics. I think that's a fantastic idea if that works for you, to say, I'm not going to spend money during the week so I can enjoy time at brunch with friends or whatever your thing is that you do during the weekend. And Saturday is the most expensive day we have. It is, the day that we spend the most money, obviously. And it, when you retire, I always say your days are full of Saturdays, and people laugh. And then they say, really is full of Saturdays. The one thing I will say about this is it doesn't blend out super easily. Anybody else had that experience? it builds up on itself, but it just doesn't blend that well as easily as some of my other ones have. But maybe it's just user error. It might be. Just looks a little patchy. Looks nice, but it did not blend as easily as I thought it was going to. But it also means it stayed on and it didn't just blend away, which is great. So I think that's fantastic if you can make that work in terms of, budgeting, if that helps you. I do think when I talk about bucket list planning with people, and I'm going to do in the crease from the NYX Ultimate Warm Neutrals palette. This is a really nice one for just some basic neutrals in there. So I'm just going to take this one. I have no idea what color that is, but this one, and put it in the crease just to give a little definition here. And then probably take the white one and put it under the eyebrow, just to have a little something there. But if you can keep to that kind of a budgeting schedule and that helps you with discipline, I am all for that. And I do think that when people are talking about budgeting, they often get very freaked out because it seems stressful. It's like, I'm never going to be able to buy anything anymore or anything. And my answer is, I can give you tips all day long about budgeting, and I'm just going to use the same brush, budgeting and that kind of thing for you, but you have to find what works for you, because it's not going to necessarily, my method that works for me isn't necessarily going to work for you. And you've got to find what works for you that's going to last. So that's why I have a problem with these gurus that come on and say, you have to do it like this. No, you don't. You don't have to do it like anything. You have to do what works for you. So, okay, that's a really nice palette. That there. All right, and then we're going to move into eyes. I am going to do a little bit of eyeshadow, or I'm sorry, eye pencil. And I'm telling you now, we're going to run over time because I can see that it's happening already. I'm going to use this Laura Mercier Eye Caviar in dark plum. It's a very pretty color as well. It's very dark. It's almost like a black color, if you can see that. And what I've been doing, because I got this tip from one of the beauty influencers, is taking like a tiny brush, and this is a Morphe Brow Stylus. It's that M401.5 brush. This is from their travel. And taking this little angled brush and putting the eyeliner on that. And then that's how I'm doing my bottom lash area. So it's not too dark, because I can't stand that really heavy black look that you get when you put on pencil directly under your eye. I think that doesn't look good. I don't think it looks good on anybody, but I really don't think it looks good as we age. At least not on me. It doesn't look good. So this just creates like a really nice smoky look under the eye, but and then I just kind of smudge it a little bit. And I think that looks nice. And then I'll take the pencil for the rest of it, but that has been a good tip I got. All right. So I think when you're trying to figure out a budgeting something, I'm trying to set my timer again. When you're trying to set a budgeting idea for yourself, really think about what is going to work for you and try lots of different things. And don't get just so down on yourself about, this is that same eyeliner pencil I'm using, about, messing up. Maybe you didn't do it perfect the first time, and that's okay. It is totally fine if you don't do it perfect right away. You got to mess with it and see what works for you. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to smudge it a little bit, and then we're going to be good to go on that. So I know budgeting can get a bad rap. I know budgeting can stress people out. I know budgeting can do lots of things. But I think that if you aren't somewhat consciously being aware of spending, you're just living in a la la land. You're not going to necessarily hit your goals. And so you've got to find a budget regimen that works for you. All right, I'm going to go in with this Tower 28 Make Waves mascara in Jet. Most people are pretty familiar with this. It has a slightly curved wand, which I like. And I'm just going to put a little bit of mascara on. Get 2 cheeks and a little bit more bronzer, and then we're going to be good to go. So because I have a dark eyeliner, I think I'll go a little lighter on the mascara today, and we'll be done. So those are my topics for today. Financial education in California, of all places. I did not expect them to do that before everybody else, but I think that's wonderful. And I do think it's good that they're encouraging women to get more education. I just think that I don't know if just putting courses in, a basic course in school is going to necessarily promote women in these areas that they're looking to do, but we'll see. Okay, then I'm going to go in with this Fenty Beauty. I just got it from their sale. Tahiti Tease. Oh, they don't have a mirror. So pretty. And I didn't realize these are kind of smushy. Did you know that? I did not know that. So I'm going to get my brush. Swirl this on. These are super forgiving, these blushes. If you haven't tried these, I think it's really nice. I like both the glow and the matte, and they go on, but they're not so, like sometimes you put on a stripe of blush and it's just like, whoa, that's too much. This I don't have. Now, of course, I'm using the diffuser brush, but I just think these are beautiful colors. And it goes very well with the Nectar eye look that I did. So that works pretty. Then I'm going to finish it off with the Laura Mercier Bronze Color Infusion 20 Marseille. This is the packaging. And then this is the dual color. And one of them's kind of satin and the other one is more matte. So I just kind of swirl into both and just kind of set my bronzer I did earlier. Bring a little bit of life back into the face. And then we'll get under lips and then we'll be done. So that's, so California, we've got some financial gymnastics that people are going to be doing, and which I think is kind of fun, And I think you have to identify for yourself when you do things like that, what spending means. I mean, does that mean going to the grocery store? Probably not. But, it might mean something else. So this is the Kimchi Beauty Your Unicorn Mouth lip liner in Beat 03. These are weird titles. It's really dark, so I'm going to try to be a little light on it. It's another one I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to keep in my collection or get rid of. Okay, kind of put a little stain on it. I did notice that this does last quite a while, so that's nice. I'm going to do a little bit of contouring with the Hard Candy Lip Blur lipstick in Smitten. Now, these to me, everybody's into these contour lip things. These have been out forever, and nobody's talking about these. I think these are just as good as other ones because none of them last super long. So, and I believe these are cheaper too. So, budget tip, if you're looking for these, this might be a good alternative to do a little bit of lip contour. Let's see. It looks just like the other ones. And these are 10 times cheaper than the Rhode ones and all that stuff that's gotten all the play. Even the L'Oreal ones are more expensive than this. So just as an FYI, and I've had all these. These are really creamy and they smell good too. I don't know what they smell like, but it's just, just to show you, it's a nice kind of pinky brown, but they have tons of different colors. So, and they don't last. They smear obviously and stuff, but so do all the other ones. So, all right, lipstick. We're going to do Lancome in Dynamic. This was a little gift I got from Ulta with the presents or with the order. I've never tried a Lancome beauty product, I think, and I definitely haven't tried their lipstick, and that looks really nice as well. And then I'm going to finish it off with the Lawless Forget the Filter Lip Plump Line Smoothing Gloss in Juicy Watermelon. And these are all pretty clear, but they're so pretty. And this does smell like watermelon, which I love. I can't eat it because I'm allergic to it, but I love it. So, okay, we're done. So I'm going to take the clips out. So, oh, I did want to do just a little PSA, and I know I'm over time again, but just if you're looking for really fun kind of travel eyeshadow that you want a couple of different colors in, these are great. This is from, I think they're called JCat, and these are their Triple Crown Baked ones. They're like $3. Maybe a little bit more than that, but they're not very expensive, and they're great quality. I mean, they're just beautiful eyeshadows, and you can do, lots of different looks with them. And they have 5 or 6 or different shades. So I just thought I was going to use that one until I got the Ilia stick, and I just thought I'd give a little shout out to them because I like things on a budget. Oh, I do have a spray here. This is that won't be a setting spray, so I'll use something else. But hopefully that was good for you. It felt a little manic, but we got through it. Okay. We got through our 3 topics. We put on some makeup. I think it turned out looking pretty nice. And we're going to get our day started. So until next time, stay strong, be safe out there, be kind to one another, and we will see you next week. Have a fantastic week. Bye-bye.